Hey everyone, welcome back into South Harmon Redraft Channel here. I'm Eric Vanek, your host for this video. You can find me on X at Eric Vanek NFL. And today I am going to go over the top 5 rookie rankings that I have for redraft in 2025 this year. My number one receiver this coming season is going to be Travis Hunter, the wide receiver to the Jacksonville Jaguars, at pick number 2 in the draft. They even traded up for him. You look at what this offense is going to be doing this year with Trevor Lawrence, new head coach Liam Cohen calling the plays. Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter should both eat in this offense. The Travis Hunter, he is just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. He could play in the slot and be a really effective weapon here for Trevor Lawrence. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter could both be top 20 fantasy wide receivers for us this year at minimum. So, really like Travis Hunter and his upside in this offense. If Travis Hunter can get me 80 catches, 1,000 yards, and sprinkle in some touchdowns there, I would be pretty damn happy with that. That's some big goals for a rookie wide receiver, but I think Travis Hunter is so talented that he could probably do that for us this season. So Travis Hunter, I've seen him go like round 4, round 5-ish range as well. I think that's probably where he's going to end up. He might even go a little bit higher if that buzz in training camp starts picking up. So Travis Hunter, he is my wide receiver 1 for this upcoming season. My wide receiver 2 for the upcoming season is Tedderoa McMillan, the wide receiver who went number 8 overall to the Carolina Panthers. And some day one, he should be in there as a starter. I would probably take him around round 5, 6-ish. I think I'm comfortable taking Tedderoa McMillan in. And Bryce Young really improved down the stretch last season too. So I think this offense is starting to pick up. Dave Canales is a very good play caller. He has proven it with Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield the last couple seasons that he's been in the NFL. And I think Bryce Young should take another step forward this year. They got him another big weapon in Tet McMillan, and that should kind of be his safety blanket. So, yeah, on the outside, I like Tet McMillan in this offense. I think he should be, worthy of a fantasy draft pick there, maybe like round 6-ish, round 7. I think I would be comfortable taking Tet McMillan as my wide receiver 2 of this rookie class. My number 3 wide receiver is going to be Matthew Golden, the first round pick to the Green Bay Packers. And as they talked about during the draft, they haven't taken a first round wide receiver since 2002, and that was Javon Walker. So if you remember back in those days, if you've been around a little bit, that's a long time ago. But I think Matthew Golden, I think he's honestly the wide receiver 1 on this team. Jaden Reed is just a slot guy. Romeo Dobbs just a possession guy. Like there's nobody that has the explosion, the route running ability that Matthew Golden does. Now, I know Josh Jacobs is a really huge part of this offense. They were the most run heavy team last year, but I think they're going to have to throw a little bit more this year to be more balanced. And Matthew Golden could be the guy that unlocks that for them this year. I just love his ability to separate and run routes. I think he's going to get open, and he's got a really good quarterback in Jordan Love to throw him the rock. Yeah, give me Matthew Golden. Probably around round 6 or 7ish as well. I like him better than Tet McMillan personally. If I'm doing Dynasty, I like him better than Tet McMillan. That's a different take than a lot of people. So I'm a lot higher on Matthew Golden than a lot of people. So yeah, give me some Matthew Golden. Like probably around round 7, I feel comfortable. My wide receiver 4 in this class is Jaden Higgins, the big, tall wide receiver from Iowa State that went in round 2 to the Houston Texans. And you just look at the depth chart here for the Texans. It was really Nico Collins. They signed Christian Kirk, and that was it. Tank Dell is probably going to miss the whole season. So Jaden Higgins steps right into that other outside role opposite Nico Collins. He's not going to be drawing a ton of attention, but I really like Jaden Higgins' ability here. He's got CJ Stroud throwing on the ball as well. And he's not going to get a ton of attention. They're going to focus on Nico Collins and Christian Kirk and Joe Mixon and Dalton Schultz. They're going to focus on those guys. So where I think Jaden Higgins can definitely get some one-on-one opportunities and be that, big, tall body that can just catch the ball for you. So I think Jaden Higgins should have a really good season here for the Texans. I'm hoping for, can he get me 60 catches, 800 yards, 5, 6 touchdowns? I think I'd be really happy with that if he could hit those kind of numbers. And he should be a really good part of this Texans offense that should be humming this year. They got some pieces on this offense, and the offensive line is definitely improved. CJ Stroud, I'm sure he's hungry to get back at it. So, yeah, give me some Jaden Higgins there as my wide receiver 4. My wide receiver 5 is going to be Kyle Williams, the third round pick who went to the New England Patriots. And you just look at this New England depth chart. Yeah, they got Stephon Diggs. That's about it, guys. It's Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne. Like, none of these guys scare me. And Kyle Williams is a very good route runner, very good separator. And I think he might be the best wide receiver outside of Stephon Diggs on this team already day one. I think Kyle Williams, maybe the first month or so, maybe he's on the a backup, and then I think he can really take over. Kind of like AJ Brown did his rookie year with the Titans. He didn't start the first couple games, but after like 3 or 4 games, AJ Brown started taking over in that offense. So I think Kyle Williams can kind of do the same here. Got Drake May throwing him the ball, and they need some pass catching weapons and a guy who can win consistently. And I think Kyle Williams is a guy that can do that. So I think Kyle Williams, we can probably get him in our double digit rounds of our redraft leagues. And this guy could easily be a wide receiver 3 to solid flex play for you every single week if he can be the number one wide receiver here for the New England Patriots if Stephon Diggs doesn't return to full health. So even with Stephon Diggs there, I think Kyle Williams can still have a really good season. So if he can get me, kind of similar to Jaden Higgins, can he get me 60 and 800 and a handful of touchdowns? I would be really, really happy with that. So let's see, Kyle Williams as the wide receiver 5 this season for my tight end 1 for redraft this year is Tyler Warrington, Indianapolis Colts. And I think it's just a depth chart thing, man. You look at Mo Alley Cox, Drew Ogletree, Jelani Woods, Will Mallory. Like, none of those guys are scary at all. And I know I'm the big one that talks about this a lot is the mess they have at the tight end depth chart, and they're running out 4 or 5 guys every single game at like 25 snaps each. I think that ends and with Tyler Warren being taken in the first round, and I like his opportunity here with especially with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones throwing him the ball, whichever one. Honestly, I think there's going to be somebody that's going to be looking for him early in these passing concepts that they're going to have here. So I like Tyler Warren there. You've seen what Shane Steichen did with Dallas Goedert too when he was with Philadelphia. I think Tyler Warren can kind of do the same type of stuff. Plus, that red zone stuff. I know they have Anthony Richardson. I know they have Daniel Jones, but Tyler Warren did run some Wildcat. I wouldn't be shocked if they ran, a couple plays for him with Wildcat, or even he throws a touchdown. He's a former quarterback. So I think there's some trick plays that you could even unlock there to get an extra touchdown or 2 that you weren't expecting. So I think, yeah, give me Tyler Warren here over Coulson Lovelin. And I like Coulson Lovelin more than I do Tyler Warren. But yeah, I will take Tyler Warren in redraft first before I take Coulson Lovelin. My number 2 tight end is the guy I just talked about, Coulson Lovelin. I think he's going to be set up here as the guy. You don't take that guy at 10th overall to kind of sit him behind Cole Kmet. He is a really good pass catcher. I compare him a little bit to Mark Andrews, and I think he could be that kind of weapon here for Caleb Williams. You look at DJ Moore, he should be one of the wide receiver ones on this team. Rome Odunze should take a step. I think it's going to be Lovelin and Rome Odunze competing for the second or third target on this team. So I do like Coulson Lovelin quite a bit this year. I think he could have a really good season. Now, Cole Kmet is going to cut in there. They're not going to completely phase out Cole Kmet here. So I think that cuts into Lovelin's numbers a little bit, and that's why I took Tyler Warren in redraft this first season above him. But yeah, I think Lovelin could still produce for us. If he can get us 5 or 6 touchdowns, maybe get us 600, 700 receiving yards, I think that could be a really good season here for Coulson Lovelin. My number 3 tight end is Mason Taylor, who went to the New York Jets in round 2. And just look at this depth chart as well, guys. It's Garrett Wilson, and there's nothing else. There's Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard, Arian Smith, who they took in the 4th round, Malachi Corley, Breece Hall. Yeah, you could throw the ball to him. But other than that, it's Garrett Wilson's show. And I think Mason Taylor easily steps in as the number 2 option in the pass game here. And you saw what Justin Fields did with Cole Kmet a little bit too with the Bears. He's going to have to target that guy over the middle or off in the flats there to drop it off to Mason Taylor. And Mason Taylor, I don't think he got used enough at LSU. I think he has a lot more talent there. I think he's closer to Tyler Warren and Coulson Lovelin than people give him credit for. So I think Mason Taylor could be that guy that we get as a tight end 2 that could turn into a back end tight end 1 for us this year. I think he has that kind of upside. So yeah, tight end 3 for me. Give me Mason Taylor to the New York Jets. My number 4 tight end is Terrence Ferguson, the second round pick to the LA Rams, and actually their first pick in the entire draft since they traded back in the first round. You look at Tyler Higbee there, he's coming off a major injury. He did play down the stretch last year, should be a little bit more healthier this year, but I think Terrence Ferguson, they didn't draft this kid to just kind of sit on the bench. And you've seen what Stafford has done with tight ends in the past. Eric Ebron is an example, not kind of the same player, but you've seen what he's done with tight ends. I think Terrence Ferguson should fit really, really well into this offense and maybe take over for Higbee a lot sooner than people are thinking. These other tight ends, Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, those guys got benched at the end of last year, and Higbee, coming off an injury, started over them. So I'm not worried about them. Give me Terrence Ferguson, though, as a potential guy that could be start off as a tight end two, maybe could sneak into the back end tight end one territory if all things work out here. But it's going to be Puka and Devontae Adams, and I think that third option is going to be one of these tight ends, and I think it's going to be Terrence Ferguson. So give me Terrence Ferguson, number 4 tight end for me this year. My last guy on the list here, number 5, Cleveland Browns tight end Harold Fannon Jr. And you kind of just look at the Browns depth chart. It's just Jerry Jeudy, it's Cedric Tillman, and that's about it. And obviously David Njoku as well. But if you kind of read some of the coach speak that's already going around, Harold Fannon is going to be a chess piece for them. He could be a guy that you could play in the slot. You could play him out wide. You could play him in line. You could play him out of the backfield. And they're already talking about ways to scheme up things for Harold Fannon Jr. So I think he's more of a tight end 2 for us in fantasy, but I wouldn't be shocked if you pick him up late in a best ball draft that he could be somebody that sneaks into your fantasy best ball lineups at some point this year for a time or two just because he catches a touchdown. I think that's upside is really high for him. Really good catcher of the football, really good mover. You saw what he did at Bowling Green, 117 catches on the season or 115, whatever it was. He's really good with the ball in his hands, and I think he's going to be a mismatch piece here for the Cleveland Browns. And Stefanski loves the tight ends. Like we just seen what Joe Flacco and David Njoku did a couple years ago. I think it's going to be the same here again. Obviously, Flacco's going to hit Njoku a lot, but I think Harold Fannon's going to fit in there really, really nicely too. So give me Harold Fannon Jr. as my tight end 5 in this class. And that's actually going to be it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you guys like it. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'd love for you to check out all our videos every time they drop. Get those notifications to your phone. I would really appreciate it. You can follow me at Eric Vanek NFL on X. Also follow South Harmon FF on X as well. And we appreciate you guys checking this out. We'll see you next week.